frustrated that you're not meeting a goal because you're not giving up certain things. And number 8, lock it in, baby. Commitment, not perfection. You're not going to get it perfect every single week, every single day, every single month. But as the greats always say, you're not going to rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. When you have all of these things put in place, you have your goal is clear, your thoughts are going to change. When your thoughts change, your feelings are going to follow, and we're going to dive into that exactly to make sure that the foundation is beautiful, running into giving you the actions and the results that you want for 2026.
Heck yeah. I'll pick it up where Jared's leaving it off because setting goals is fantastic, but that's half the battle, right? You put it on paper, put it out into the universe there for yourself, but then it's time to go capitalize on it. And in that process, sometimes you're not going to measure up the way you wanted to that day or that week. And
You were
so
pregnant that
it's
day.
exceptionally
Pretty crazy.
important to keep a healthy headspace. Like one of my favorite things to think about is the only difference between all of us on this call and like Jeff Bezos is what he's thinking about every day, right? He started Amazon in a warehouse or not, in a garage in his parents' garage. That's where he started it. And so the only difference is what he was thinking when he was doing that, right? We all have the same 24 hours in a day. Um, Now, thankfully, we don't have to reinvent the wheel on how to do this because we've got a lot of people who have come before us and laid out some good ways. The first one is reading the book of the month. Now, personally, when I was first starting, Mark was big on me. Xander, you don't sound like you're reading, and I was like, Mark, I'm setting I was part time at the time. Like, I'm setting my 8 to 10 appointments a week. Like, I'm not writing anything. How is reading a book going to change anything? But the reality is that because I was not reading, I was getting so in my head. I was looking for the silver bullet or the perfect thing to say. And the issue was I wasn't showing up in a mindset or headspace to really help somebody. And so if this is the first call that you've ever been on, we've had, books of the month every single month so far this year. Use the holiday time to catch up on some of those. Read a couple of them because I think my favorite is the Slight Edge. I will shameless plug on that one. Because all of the things that you're doing day in and day out are going to compound one way or the other, whether it be good or bad. And so the book of the month really helped me to get my head straight so that I could show up and be present and actually help said families. Um, so that's the first one. Reading is a non-negotiable. 10 pages a day. 10 pages a day. Everybody can do that. And I actually recommend keeping it to that 10 pages so you can digest and implement everything that you did read. Um, I'll quit belaboring the book of the month. But if you didn't notice, it's pretty important. Um, and then following that is engaging with the calls, showing up and being present and listening and paying attention, right? We celebrate everybody's wins at the beginning. There's a reason for that because again, if you didn't have that day or week that you wanted to, we have enough people here doing the right things that somebody else is winning. And so you can draft off of their success and remind yourself that when you start, this kind of ties back into reading, you start blaming the leads, you start blaming whoever and whatever. It's actually you. And so showing up and plugging into the conference, well, conference is important too, but plugging into the calls so that you can draft off of that energy is absolutely massive. Um, and then this last one, a little bit of story time. So when I was in college, I was studying computer science, and it was hard. It did not come to me naturally, and I am very much of a I'm going to lock myself in a room until I figure this thing out. And I would notice that, when I had a really hard program that I was working on, programs, by the way, are fairly binary. It's either it works and you got a 100 on the project, or it doesn't work and you get a 0. And so if it was a 0 and I'd been working on it for a week, I'd be like, I can't do anything else. I've got to get this sorted out. And up until that point in my life, I had been super consistent with exercise and going to the gym. Um, and I would say, you know what? I don't have time for that. I don't have time to be spending an hour or two going and exercising, and I wouldn't necessarily get the results that I wanted on either. My health and fitness would fall behind, and then I would kind of spiral as far as working on these programs would go. And then I would get out of it and I'd start working out again. I'd be like, man, I'm in such a better headspace. Like, what a mystery. And I actually found that I started doing the same thing here. And so I'd be like, hey, I'm not at my goal for the week, right? Going out and taking a walk or going and picking up something heavy, like that's not, I don't have time to do that. And the reality is that your mental health and your physical health are very closely tied together. And so I have found, and I believe that everyone else I've talked to seems to have found the same, that when you get up and move and take your mind away from just being successful in at Symmetry and helping people with mortgage protection or whatever it is you're helping people with, and I go do something else, I focus on a different goal of mine where showing up is half the battle. I'll come back much more present and focused and ready to help people, and I'll be more effective in less time just because I went and did that. And so I cannot encourage that to anyone else who's like me, because I don't think it's unusual. Anybody who's doing anything where it's 100% commission based off of your efforts, it's easy to get in the no, I just need to lock in and work. And there is a time and a place for that, but you have to have balance with it. Um, and when you combine all three, you'll develop a rock solid mindset where, hey, if you had a bad week, I don't care. That just means next week's going to be awesome. I'm going to do twice as much next week and be twice as effective because I am reading my 10 pages a day. I got the Jeff Bezos mindset. I am engaging with the calls and drafting off of other people's positive energy and plugging in. And you might hear one little thing from Joe in the production call or on the Monday call or the recruiting call, whichever one that you needed to hear. And maybe you were doing something wrong, right? And you'll find that out there. And then making sure that you're taking care of your physical health as well. You combine all three of those, it is pretty stinking hard to let a bad week spiral into a bad day, spiral into a bad week, spiral into a bad month. If you're keeping on top of all three of those, it's easy to do that if you let the three of these fall. So focus on all three. Your thoughts and feelings will improve immensely. And then that combined with your goals and the actions that Jordan's going to talk about should turn into a pretty stellar 2026 for you.
Man, am I fired up. I don't know about you guys. If you're not fired up, you're not engaged. Just calling it out, calling it up. Let's talk about that for a second. Do you guys know what the difference is going to be between this year and next year for you guys? Okay, so I want to ask in the chat here. When you think of somebody successful, who do you think of? And I just mean in the insurance world. In your circle, which is the Cook Group, when you think of success, who do you think of? Let's get some engagement here. Jeff Miller. Oh, Jeff. Love that. Thank you, Tony. I want to hug you. I gotta give you a hug. Chris Cook, Joe, Boss Mom. Agreed, Peter. Elijah, big time, Pedro. Agreed. Your upline. All right, guys. If you want to be in their position next year, which you can, even farther, where we are and where a brand new agent is not that big of a gap anymore. Y'all, this business is incredible how quick you can close a gap. The difference between this year and next year will be entirely your environment. Entirely. And that is within your control. You have to fix your roots in order to change your fruits, guys. You may look at, you know what I mean? You may look at what your results are, your bank account, and think, I need to fix my bank account. I got to put money in there. When in reality, you need to change your roots. You need to change what you're engaged in. And the difference between this year and next year, or what will actually lead to it being the same thing, or even worse of a year, because guys, there's an opportunity to shrink next year. It's going to be your degree of engagement and how immersed you are in this culture. So what does full immersion look like? is what I want to talk to you guys about. What is being fully emerged? The people you wrote down in the chat, are they registered for conference? And are they not just registered for conference, or do they have a CMAU code? Right? That's the question. What are they doing in order to be where they are? Are they plugged into every call? Is their camera on? Are they taking notes? Do they read the book of the month? Your degree of engagement. COVID destroyed engagement for the working class because we got to go home. We got to be here. I rarely put on shoes anymore unless I'm going for a walk. Anybody who in the chat, who's wearing shoes? Actually, I like this one better. Who's not wearing shoes in the chat? Give me a 1. I got a big one right here. There we go. COVID killed engagement. It also opened up this feeling of free will. I don't have to. And because it's easier not to do, Xander, good for you, man. Are you wearing socks is the real question, Xander. That's what we used to ask Grant all the time. The answer was no. He never wore socks. He would literally bring luggage, like a suitcase to conference just for his shoes because those things stink because he never wore socks. I'm joking. They didn't stink. He just had that many shoes, so he was always changing them out. But seriously, guys, free will opened up the, well, it's not my job, so I don't have to mentality, and engagement got destroyed. And we get comfortable when we get free will, don't we? Because we're going to choose the hard thing to do as a reflex? No, your brain is geared in order to literally, oh man, Micah, your comment that freaked me out when I first looked over there. I'm not even going to address it anymore. Guys, your comfort is what has led you to where you are. Amen. Guys, I heard my baby yell amen in the other room. Amen. Your comfort has led you to where you are. You are the sum of all of your choices, but you are also the sum of your echo chamber. Who are you surrounded with right now? And what do they talk about? Who are you surrounded with right now? And do they read 10 pages a day of a personal development book? If your answer is no, start there. There's an action. Get around people that you wrote down in the chat. Get around people that have what you want. Because if you're going to stay around people who are going to validate why you are not successful, congratulations, you will remain there. The only validation that I need that I'm not successful is being surrounded by a bunch of people who are out there getting what I want. Because then I know what's in my control. I can go fix it. Right? So let's also talk about, who are you accountable to? Is it no one? Do you have like this me, myself, and Irene kind of thing where you just hang out with yourself all day long? And that's who you're accountable to? I love what Jordan Hunt talks about. There's a time, guys, when we break so many self-promises, it doesn't even hurt anymore. Where you say, well, I'll just do it tomorrow so many times that tomorrow just keeps showing up and you're never going to do it. Guys, who are you accountable to? I have 4 people that I have to send a text message to of what I read about in the morning. And when I missed it this morning because I slept in too late, it's bothering me. Hear me out, guys. I have people who watch my business tracker that I'm accountable to, and I get a text message saying, your tracker looks weak. Thank you, Kevin. Right? Who do you have in place to hold you accountable to your goals? Are the 5 people you surrounded with registered for CMAU? If not, guess who's not going to also be registered for CMAU? It's the last letter, guys. You will not be registered for a conference that's going to change your business. The things that you just spent the first 20 minutes of this call, or first 20 minutes of us in our topic, writing down what's important to you. You won't go get that if you're not registered, period, end of story. Chris Cook and I and Jared, we sit down on Mondays and we talk about where we're going to be in a year. What did we do last week? And how are numbers reflecting where we are right now? And it is hand over foot. There are things in this business that are totally malleable to you bringing your personality, your culture, your everything that you are to your company, making it your own. But there is singular little pieces that you cannot argue with. And butts and seats is totally one of them. We had 22 people to the last conference, and that equals about 110,000 in production. You'll never guess where we landed last month. Are we surprised? 90 days out from a conference in August, November hit, are our numbers reflecting the butts and seats 100%? So if you have goals for yourself of, I'm going to hit this production race, I'm going to own a company, I'm going to own a piece of Symmetry in 90 days after CMAU, 10 people to conference, you got to be one of them. Guys, we're not telling you this because selling tickets is fun. It is not fun to sell tickets, guys. I'm just telling you that's not my thing I want to do with my life. I want to spend time with my daughter. I want to make an impact on people. Selling tickets isn't fun, but watching Bridget be totally present with her family is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Knowing that Noreen can call me and say, hey, I don't like my work schedule. And I go, let's change it. And she gets to be present with her daughter for gymnastics without having to ask anybody for help. She just gets to do it. She doesn't have to write a note to me saying, let me be off work Tuesday evening. Okay, right? Like if it helps you, sure, but you are in control of your schedule. And getting to see pictures of her at mass with her daughter because her daughter wanted to help and she found out the day before or maybe the morning of, knowing what parenthood is like now, guys, she gets to be where she wants to be. Now, ticket sales may not be fun, but ticket sales, guys, is what leads to people being present with their family. Having a balance, because it's full immersion, it's engagement. You are not going to get from conference what you're getting on a Zoom right now. It's going to be better than that. Because some of you are driving, some of you are brushing your teeth. Thank you for brushing your teeth today. I appreciate you. Some of you are doing something else other than sitting here and committing to your company, and that's because you can. And life is calling you to be in 9 different directions, but the one place that you need to make sure you're at is in Knoxville, Tennessee, March the 1st through the 3rd, if what you wrote down is important to you. It's just non-negotiable, guys. Non-negotiable. And if you don't do it, nobody is going to give you like the hard time, unlike the people who are holding you accountable to your goals will, because we love you. And sometimes we confuse what love and shame sounds like. Right? I love Bridget enough that I know when she says, I want 20 people to CMAU, and every time she shows up on a call with me, we're going to talk about it. Right? That's not shame. This is me just holding her accountable because I love her and I want her to have the things that she said she wanted next year. Let's not confuse that. There's no shame in you not doing the things that you say you're going to do, other than the one that you should really carry with yourself. You should feel that internally when you don't do and arrive the way that you said you would. I love it, Jared. Great conversation with your mentor. As soon as this is over, I want you to send that exact text to your mentor. They will help you figure it out. If you have to get a roommate, if you have to carpool, who cares? The first conference I ever met Steve O'Devo and Mark Neubauer out, they showed up in a van. I'm pretty sure neither of them own a van. And they just started rolling out all these indie peeps. And I was like, oh, hey, nice to see you, instead of on a conference call. Yes, Kim, thank you. Thank you for hearing that this comes from a place of love. I love this company. I love my life. I love what we have here. And it is selfish of me to keep what it takes to get here to myself. And so that's what we're bringing to you guys today. 2026 will only be different if you change your environment. You keep it the way it is. Get ready to be looking in the mirror again at the same person that you see right now, just a little sadder, if you don't make a change to your environment. Full immersion, full engagement is key to change. And if you're like, man, these people are really happy, man, this sounds like drinking Kool-Aid. Some of us need our brains washed, okay? I remember Brian Delaney said that one time. Sometimes you need your brain washed. You have been programmed to negativity. You've been programmed to a certain level of income, and you have an opportunity to change your life. And not just your life, the people who come after you and people you've never met yet. You get to be that answer for your family and for others. And it's within a multi-trillion-dollar industry and leveraging what we have here. I'm so excited. Thank you guys for the opportunity to talk to you all. Change your roots, change and do what the people who have what you want, do what they're doing every day and get around them more often. That is your own personal choice. The workroom is now open and live for anybody working live. And babe, I see you unmuted.
I was just gonna say, great job.
Oh, thank you. You
we're
did
good after
awesome.
that, Jordan.
Great job, Xander. I love you guys so much. It is the best time of the year.
Love
Might
it.
as well make hay while sun's shining, right?
Last week before Christmas. Let's get after it.
Let's
Don't
go.
say that. That's freaking me out. My mother-in-law will be here in 8 days. Oh my God. We'll see you guys.
Great job, Xander.
Good
All
job.
right, see you guys.
See you guys.